An American take on an English classic with IDW's Judge Dredd #1.
Jason Aaron's out, but Mark Waid is in on Indestructible Hulk #1.
And I buy my first ever Captain America book. So the first thing we're talking about this week is IDW's Judge Dredd #1. Have you ever bought a Judge Dredd book before?
I have bought Judge Dredd graphic novels, which have varied in very good to not so good.
I wasn't going to buy one this week, except for the fact that it has a shiny cover.
Shiny, shiny.
We were like a bunch of magpies in the shop.
We
like,
were
it just
indeed.
saw it and was like, oh, shiny. And it was a bit of a light week. So I decided...
Well, light week for you.
Yeah, so I decided to pick up Judge Dredd #1. You followed.
I did.
Before we get into the book itself,
Yep.
I would like to talk about the physical quality of this.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this... So it's a $3.99 book by IDW, which is kind of unusual because they're not one of the bigger companies. So putting a book out at $3.99 is always a bit risky because we're less likely to buy it. But the quality of the paper and the cardstock cover really justifies how much that book costs.
This book is beautiful, and I don't know if I would have said that if it was printed on, like, if you compare it to something like this, look at the difference in the
You don't
colour.
get to compare.
Sorry.
Just us.
Look at the difference in the colour.
There is, yeah, it really pops off the
insane.
page.
It pops, it's beautiful, like, but even story totally aside, this book was worth it just for the actual quality of it. If all my books were like this, I would be a happy man. That being said, what did you think of Judge Dredd #1?
I thoroughly enjoyed Judge Dredd #1. I'm a little bit on the... I'm not quite sure what's going yet. It's not the most gripping first issue that we've had recently, but it's certainly a good start. A lot of intrigue, a lot of mystery, and the artwork is beautiful. It's got this really nice kind of pop art style dots, which I really like in the kind of inking process. Yeah. And I thought it was a very unusual choice, but I think it definitely paid off. Judge Dredd is, he is the character who I expect him to be. And the backup story was, it looks very 2000 AD, the colouring and the style of it. And it oozes charisma. I was a big fan of this, and I will definitely pick up #2.
Yeah, man, and I second that. Like I say, it looks fantastic. Nelson Daniels' art was wonderful. It popped. We've been talking a lot about, and we will be talking about on Friday, I believe, bits of Darwin Cook. And it's very similar to that. It embraces the cartoon, really thick lines, really thick ink. And I like this a lot. And I don't even remember, I read this a while ago, I don't even remember what happened. I just remember it being just a nice, pleasant, just lovely experience.
Good bit of fun. Good bit of fun.
Good bit of old-fashioned fun. And yeah, just a fantastic quality,
now,
so worth the money.
Do you feel bad that you're not buying 2000 AD Judge Dredd when that is British-based and the IDW American version?
I am going to start buying 2000 AD.
As am I.
Anyway. Literally the only reason
it's my New Year's resolution.
Like, shiny aluminium... No, it's not aluminium, is it?
Shiny.
Shiny was very popular in the 90s. And, oh, look, it's reflecting in there.
He's bringing shiny back.
Wait, that's no good for them.
Camera,
yeah, no, and they got rid of it, but if all books were shiny, yeah, exactly.
Dan wants the shiny back.
Indestructible Hulk #1.
Indestructible.
Tell us a bit about this.
I will tell you a little bit about it. So it's written by Mark Waid, who is currently famous for his Daredevil run, which is Eisner Award winning, and it is fucking awesome. I'm a huge fan of that. And it's drawn by, I'm going to butcher the name, but Lenil Yu, who is a Mark Miller constant artist, did Superior recently, which I absolutely loved as well, and Super Crooks, which I wasn't too thrown on the story, but the artwork is, as always, stellar. Yeah, so the other title of this book could be Hulk, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's kind of the theme they're running with here. Different continuity, but it does follow on slightly from what we've already seen. What did you think of it?
Well,
I've
seen this story before in the Ultimates.
Okay, I
like,
have not.
S.H.I.E.L.D., and I think, is it Mark Miller who wrote the first Ultimates? And they basically use Hulk as this weapon. They fire him, essentially. And I thought this book did nothing for me, to be honest.
Okay.
I wasn't hugely thrown on the art style, especially not like I was in Dredd. And I read this just after I read Dredd, so maybe I was just like, ugh, all these comics that I'm used to after how beautiful Dredd was. But no, the story did nothing for me. I felt like I'd seen it all before. And you know what? I am happy that Jason Aaron's run on Hulk is kind of just a thing that I got to experience. Mm-hmm. And to be perfectly honest, I'm now ready to let Hulk go. Because, not that this was like offensive to the eyes or anything, because it wasn't. It was perfectly fine. Mm-hmm. But these are Marvel now. Oh, yeah, it's really exciting Marvel now. It didn't do enough at all on any level. It was perfectly well written. It looked perfectly fine, but it didn't do enough to have me say, yeah, this is something I want to commit to. So for me, it was just quite a passive and experience.
See, this is what I've been enjoying about the Marvel Now stuff, is we seem to be so polar opposite on it. I thought this was brilliant. I really enjoyed it. Mark Waid's writing, I think, is, as always, brilliant. When we get this kind of monologue from Bruce Banner saying, during the whole AVX thing, you had me out there on the field, and then you had Stark and Reed Richards working on a cure for the problem. I am as smart, if not smarter than them, so why am I not doing that? I love that attitude of Bruce Banner. It's not something that because I'm not huge on the storylines.
Don't you wish that they had followed on from Jason Aaron's Hulk as opposed to this big Marvel continuity thing?
I feel as though it ties on enough from the Hulk work. We get, he's re-emerged after disappearing for however long, and he's back with a different attitude. He wants to be taken as more than just big green angry giant, and I really like that look. I totally disagree. I think the book is beautiful in its own right. I love, again, it's got that kind of thick line style, but it works in a more realistic manner. The fight scenes are chaotic, but just there's something about the color palette they use which is really just something very pleasing to the eye for me. So this, I personally say pick it up because I really enjoyed it.
I think it was no better than average, and I think there are much better Marvel Now titles for you to be picking up.
Well, let's talk about the last Marvel title, Captain America #1. Written by Rick Remender, who's also writing Uncanny Avengers, and drawn by John Romita Jr., who does Kick-Ass, Hit Girl. He's a Mark Miller
Rick Remender also wrote one of my favourite comics of the last kind of 5 years, Uncanny X-Force.
Yep. And what would you say this book is about?
I see what you did there.
I think that tells a lot about this book.
It starts off and you find some of Captain America's upbringing, and basically what happens is he gets transported to an alternate dimension, and there's a villain that I haven't heard of before.
You have. He's in the film.
But I'm assured is fairly...
He's in the film, Zola. He is. He is. He's the sidekick to the Red Skull. The little guy with the glasses.
Yeah, but more like that.
No. But this is how he's always looked.
Yeah, well, as I said in the intro, I've never picked up a Captain America book before, so I was excited to read this.
I'm just going to jump straight on this and say I hated this book. Apart from the opening, which I don't think looks very good, but the story was quite touching, which is the first 3 pages. After that, this book just went further and further downhill for me. I hate John Romita Jr.'s blocky style. I thought the writing was stale. I don't care about Captain America. I don't care about his relationship. I don't care about anything he's doing. I just did not like him at all. at all. This is the worst of the Marvel Nows, only seconded by Uncanny Avengers for me. So there, take it.
First of all, Uncanny Avengers was good.
I did not like it.
Second of all, I like John Romita Jr.'s art. Third,
Says a lot about you, sir. Says a lot about you.
I like the blocky, I like his style,
It's why I've never picked up Kick-Ass.
I like how it looks,
Shocker.
and I think it's a perfect fit for Captain America. Having said that, I have never read an issue of a comic, so this is the face I was pulling throughout. I don't. Is that a baby? Like, there's a point at the end of this comic, right, where he has.
Spoiler?
He's got. I'm sorry, but he's got a baby in his shield.
Spoiler.
And we see him. We see him throwing the shield around, like.
But there's a baby in it the whole time.
No, but he picks it up somewhere in between the comic that we never find out. This issue, right? I'm sorry, but it's crazy. It's all over the place. It doesn't really know. I'm sure that Rick Remender. I have faith in Rick Remender because of how good his writing has been for me in the past. But yeah, this is my first and last Captain America book. The
big four: Hulk, Thor, Captain America, Iron Man. Which has been the best?
Thor.
I would agree.
Okay, join us on Wednesday. We continue to find out who the greatest superhero of all time is, and on Friday we'll be reviewing some graphic novels we've been reading recently.
Oh, it's crazy, and we'll see you
you
then.
then.
Oh, we did it together.